The new Audi Q2 is the latest addition to the German luxury car maker's burgeoning crossover range, and its name tells you all you need to know. Q signifies it's an SUV, of sorts, and that small number indicates its pecking order below the larger Q3, Q5 and Q7 models. The fact that it's an even number ushers in a new era of more sporting crossovers, following the logic of BMW's X4 and X6. Yet despite something of a coupe-cool aesthetic, the Q2 is aimed squarely at rivals such as the Mini Countryman, Mercedes-Benz GLA and BMW X1. At 4.19 meters long, the Q2 is 13 centimeters shorter than in-house rival, the A3 Sportback, with which it shares its mechanical underpinnings, yet with 405 litres of luggage capacity it's got a 25-litre bigger boot when carrying 5 passengers. Pricing is very close to the A3 Sportback, too. The cheapest Q2 1.0 TFSI and say spec will cost £20,230 when UK sales start in November 2016. Audi Q2 boasts decent choice of engines. The entry-level Q2 is the 1.0-litre 3-cylinder TSI turbo petrol with 115 horsepower. Other choices at launch will be a 1.6-litre TDI diesel, also with 115 horsepower, a 1.4-litre TFSI turbo petrol and a 2.0-litre TDI diesel, both with 150 horsepower. Audi has deliberately matched the petrol and diesel power outputs, though the diesels will have more torque, greater economy and higher price tags. All the engines we've tested have suited the Q2's character well, and even the smallest 1.0 provides decent shove, albeit with a strained 3-cylinder thrum. The likely UK bestseller is the 1.4-litre TFSI petrol with 150 horsepower. This is a high-touch engine, able to deactivate 2 of its 4 cylinders during low-stress driving in order to save fuel, a process that's so smooth you'll only notice it if you're watching the display on the instrument cluster. Yet it also provides punchy performance and plenty of driving enjoyment. Impressive new auto gearbox. The S-tronic transmission is a new 7-speed unit that's very snappy under manual control, although automatic gear changes don't always happen when you'd like them to. Many buyers may be better served by sticking with the standard 6-speed manual gearbox and pocketing the change. The stick shift has a pleasant action and its gear ratios are well matched, allowing for easy progress. Most Q2s will be equipped with front-wheel drive and traction is good. We'd question the need for quattro 4-wheel drive available only on the higher power engines. Even on 18-inch alloys the Q2 is comfortable on all but the bumpiest roads, regardless of whether you stick with the standard suspension or option the adaptive setup instead. If you do go for the latter, selecting dynamic helps keep roll in the corners under greater control, which suits the sharp steering and generally eager responses of the Q2 chassis. The ride gets firmer as a result, but you can always switch back to comfort once you've finished having fun. Distinctive design. There are a number of distinctive elements on the outside that will help you spot the Q2 on the road, notably the square, widely spaced taillights and colored pillar panel, which can be changed at the dealer for a refreshed appearance. Despite this, the Q2 retains a very Audi presence, a theme that continues into a cabin that is at once clearly similar to the A3 but also slightly different. Items like the door handles are chunkier, the standard fit central display is fixed on top of the dash like a protruding iPad, and you can pick contrasting colors for some of the trim elements. This is part of Audi's effort to increase personalization choice, but the Q2 remains more conservative than anything from Mini. Equipment levels are reasonable across the Q2 range, but the best-selling sports spec is particularly good value, splitting the difference between entry-level SE and range-topping S-line. Standard features on the Q2 Sport include 17-inch alloys, contrasting Manhattan grey exterior elements, satellite navigation and the cruise control. You also get Audi Drive Select, which allows you to tailor the car's responses between auto, efficient, comfort, dynamic and individual settings. All Q2s get autonomous braking for added safety and progressive steering to balance low speeds with higher speed driving pleasure. Previously, this has sometimes felt odd in use, but seems well calibrated here. In typical Audi fashion, there's a plethora of engine choice for the new Q2 crossover. Choose from 3 petrols and a trio of diesels at launch in November 2016. 3 petrol engines. Proceedings kick off with an eager, downsized 1.0-litre 3-cylinder engine, which boasts 115 horsepower and commendably frugal combined fuel economy of 51.4 miles per gallon. No CO2 figure has been published yet and the Q2's efficiency ratings are provisional. This is a sweet-living engine with a thrummy, 3-cylinder character that provides sufficient performance for this small crossover, although no acceleration figures are issued yet. Next up is the 1.4 TFSI, which has cylinder-on-demand technology that shuts down 2 of the 4 cylinders at light loads to save fuel. Hence Audi quoting 54.3 miles per gallon, while sprinting from 0.62 miles per hour in 8.5 seconds. This is the likely UK bestseller, and for good reason. It's well-mannered and drives well, although we preferred the 6-speed manual to the 7-speed S-tronic auto on this engine. A more muscular 2.0 TFSI is also offered in the Q2, delivering a hearty 190 horsepower and pocky performance, although no official acceleration or economy figures are confirmed. We have yet to test this derivative. A trio of diesels. The smaller the car, the less likely buyers are to pick a diesel engine, but Audi still says the 1.6 DDI is the second most popular motor in the Q2. We can see why. It is refined and provides elastic twang for overtaking again. No 0.62 miles per hour times yet, while topping 62.8 miles per gallon in mixed use, says Audi. If you want quattro 4-wheel drive on your Audi Q2, you'll have to step up to the larger 2.0-litre diesels. Pick from outputs of 150 horsepower or 190 horsepower, with a commensurate step-up in performance and average fuel economy claims of around 51.4 miles per gallon. We'll publish the full data as soon as they're released by Audi. The Audi Q2 is based on the oily bits that underpin a host of VW Group's small cars, including the VW Golf and Audi A3. So it should come as no surprise that it drives rather like a compact, slightly taller family hatchback. It isn't at all daunting to pilot around town and the car is easy to place on the road. We found no fault with any engine and trim combination. All handle well and can be hustled around city streets or your favored country lane with a degree of poise and balance that belie the Q2's crossover status. It feels more like a warm hatchback than a tall SUV on tiptoes. Adaptive dampers. The suspension on most Q2s uses standard dampers, but you can select adaptive dampers as an optional extra, whose stiffness can be tailored via the Audi Drive Select system to engage comfort or dynamic modes depending upon your mood. This is a nice option to have, but not compulsory, as we think the Q2 rides and steers quite well enough on the standard chassis. All Q2s come with progressive steering, which varies the amount of input required at the wheel to turn the car, depending on your speed. Unlike rival systems, we were impressed by this setup. The helm feels incredibly natural considering the complexities of the variable rack attached to the very feelsome and high-quality leather-trimmed steering wheel. Front-wheel drive and quattro drivetrains available. The vast majority of Q2s will come with front-wheel drive and this will suit most owners down to the ground. Yes, you can cheer up the front wheels if you nip out of a damped junction, but traction for the most part is excellent even with the punchy turbocharged engines. However, both 2.0-litre diesels and the 2.0 TFSI petrol engine can be ordered with quattro 4-wheel drive, and if you live in a remote area and want the security blanket of improved traction, we'd heartily recommend the extra security it brings.